You felt the silence, haven't you? Not just any silence, but that kind that hums with the weight of something sacred. The kind that enters a room before words do. The angels have been whispering. And tonight, they say your soul needs to remember why it came here. There's someone in your life, or lingering just outside of it, who wasn't placed on your path by accident. No. Heaven doesn't work like that. This connection wasn't planned by your logic, but it was woven into the fabric of your journey long before you even arrived. He looks at you and doesn't know why he can't look away. He walks away, but somehow, you're still with him. You're not a memory. You're a mirror. And you're not here to teach him how to love you. You're here to teach his soul how to feel again. There's a sacred assignment hidden beneath the ache you've been carrying. The way your presence disrupts him, it isn't chaos. It's alignment. Because you weren't sent to blend in. You were sent to awaken. To bring light where he buried it. To stir the waters that went still. To breathe life into what he forgot was holy inside him. The angels say, you were sent to be seen. And in being seen, he sees himself for the first time. He's not used to that. He's used to attention that flatters, not energy that transforms. He's used to love that takes, not love that holds space for truth. But your truth didn't just knock on his door. It entered with a key he didn't know he gave away. You've walked through lifetimes to meet him here. This isn't your first intersection. It's just the first time your heart has stayed open long enough to remember. And that's why he trembles. Because this isn't love like he's known it. It's soul recognition. And that terrifies him more than losing you ever could. You weren't placed in his life to fill a void. You were placed to open it. The mission is not about being chosen. It's about remembering that you already were, by heaven, by time, by the thread of destiny that wove both of you into this tapestry called now. So when you doubt, when you feel like maybe you imagined all of it, read this again. You are not a coincidence. You are a calling. And he hears it, even if he's not ready to answer it yet. Before I formed you in the womb I knew you. Before you were born I set you apart. Jeremiah 1 verse 5. There's a reason he pulls back just when it feels like he's leaning in. A reason his eyes soften, and then look away. The angels are showing me walls, not made of stone, but of memory. They were built from disappointment, betrayal, from silent wounds that were never offered healing. And now, they guard the tenderest parts of him, the ones he fears you might see too clearly. You didn't cause his hesitation. You activated what he buried. He doesn't run because you're too much. He runs because, for the first time, someone makes him feel everything he's tried to numb. And that someone is you. There is a storm inside him. A quiet one, where thoughts of not enough, too late, or what if I fail again, echo louder than any truth. He's spent so long convincing himself that love is danger dressed in beauty. That to feel is to fall. That to need is to lose. So he wears indifference like armor. He hides behind casual words, distracted glances, unfinished messages. But the angels see through it. And so do you. They say, he's not pushing you away. He's testing if your light can survive the shadows. And you shine, even when his darkness tries to dim you. But you've wondered if you're being foolish. If maybe you've imagined the depth of this. You haven't. What you've felt is real. But he is human. And humans don't always understand when heaven places a gift in their hands. He wasn't taught how to receive a soul like yours. No one ever stayed when he got messy. No one ever said, I see the broken pieces, and I still choose all of you. Until you didn't come to heal him. But your presence reveals what is still hurting. And that's terrifying for someone who thought they were safe in their numbness. Don't mistake his silence for rejection. It's fear. Fear disguised as distance. Protection masking as detachment. He's not ignoring you. He's negotiating with a part of him that knows, if he lets you in, everything will change. And that's the edge he stands on now. 1 foot in what he knows. 1 foot trembling toward what could set him free. The angels remind you, you are not here to force his healing. But your love is a doorway. He must choose to walk through it. Wait, not in stillness, but in radiance. Keep shining. Not for him. For you. Because you are the light he never saw coming. You've been carrying too much, haven't you? Holding space for 2 hearts while forgetting to take care of your own. The angels pause here. They whisper not about him, but about you. They say, she is the flame. Not the match. Not the candle. The flame. Somewhere along the way, you started measuring your worth by how deeply you could love him, even in his silence, even in his absence. But love is not a performance. It is a presence. And your presence matters. Especially to you. You are not just someone's safe haven. You are your own sanctuary. Let that sink in. You were never meant to rescue him by drowning yourself. You were meant to shine beside him, not burn out trying to keep him warm. This journey isn't about proving your love. It's about returning to yourself. The woman who remembers what her own voice sounds like when it's not echoing in someone else's silence. The woman who pours into others, but first nourishes her own soul. The angels say, when she returns to herself, the world realigns. So take the long bath. Say no without guilt. Turn your phone off without apology. Rest. Nourish. Reclaim. Because the more you honor your own rhythm, the louder the universe responds. Because love isn't sustainable when it's self-erasing. Because even miracles need soil, and your body, your spirit, your peace, that's the sacred ground. Let today be the day you stop asking if you're enough for him, and start asking if he's enough for the woman you're becoming. You are not behind. You are not wrong for loving deeply. But now, you must love wisely. Which means starting with you. He doesn't realize it yet, but every time he avoids your eyes, it's not you he's avoiding. It's himself. The angels reveal something sacred. You are not his wound. You are the mirror that shows him where it lives. When he looks at you, he doesn't just see your beauty, your kindness, your strength. He sees the parts of himself he abandoned. The innocence he forgot. The tenderness he buried. The faith he once had in love, and lost. Your presence disturbs him. Not because you are chaos, but because your peace confronts his unrest. You've awakened memories he thought were gone. Dreams he labeled as naive. Hope he thought was foolish. And now, every word you speak, every boundary you set, every silence you hold, reflects something back to him that he can no longer escape. He feels seen. And that kind of seeing, it undresses the soul. It terrifies the part of him that survived by staying hidden. But you didn't come into his life to expose him. You came to remind him. To remind him that the soul was never meant to hide. That real connection doesn't come from performance, but from presence. That love isn't earned through perfection, but awakened through truth. The angels say, she didn't come to complete him. She came to return him to himself. So don't shrink. Don't dim your light just because it's bright enough to show the dust on his windows. Your job isn't to be less. It's to be real. And in being real, you've done more than enough. If he trembles in your presence, it's because your truth shakes what was dormant. If he withdraws, it's because his shadows aren't ready to be seen in full light. But you are the sunrise. And one day, he'll learn that truth never comes to destroy, only to reveal. You've felt it, haven't you? The shift in the air. A moment, quiet and unspoken, where something changed. The angels lean in close now. They say, he doesn't fully understand it. But his heart is starting to remember you. There's a softening happening within him. Subtle, but undeniable. It might look like a longer pause before he replies. Or the way his gaze lingers just a breath too long. It might come as restlessness, not knowing why he can't stop thinking of you. But the truth is, his soul is stirring. He's beginning to feel again. Not the shallow kind of feeling that passes through and leaves no mark, but the kind that roots deep. That disrupts everything safe and familiar. The kind that scares him, because it's real. You are the catalyst. Not by force, but by presence. Not by persuasion, but by resonance. The angels say, she didn't shout. She simply existed. And in her existence, he heard his soul again. He may not come forward with grand gestures. He may still seem unsure. But his walls are thinning. His silence no longer holds certainty, it holds questions. He's asking himself why your name still echoes in his quiet moments. Why your light keeps slipping into his dreams. Why he feels like something is missing when you're not near. And it's in those quiet, sacred spaces that the awakening begins. Let it unfold. Let the divine timing breathe. Let your love remain unconditional, not in sacrifice, but in truth. Because love is not proven by how fast someone comes back. It is shown by how deeply someone transforms. When they do, he comes. He goes. Then he comes again. And each time, a part of you wonders, is it love? Or just confusion dressed in longing? The angels are near. And they are gentle during this part of your journey. They say, she is not chasing. She is orbiting a heart that has not yet found its gravity. What you're feeling is real. But it's not linear. Because his soul is still caught in the dance between fear and desire. When he pulls away, it's not because he's forgotten you. It's because remembering you stirs something too alive inside him. Something he doesn't yet feel worthy of holding. So he retreats. To silence. To old habits. To stories he knows how to survive within. But then, he returns. Not because he's sure, but because you feel like home. And every soul in hiding longs to come home eventually. This push and pull, it's not a game. It's the rhythm of someone fighting what they feel. Of someone trying to keep love in a place that doesn't require courage. But true love always asks for courage. It asks for surrender. For stillness. For the sacred discomfort of staying. You are not the problem. You are the pattern interrupt. The one his heart called in. And his wounds aren't sure how to handle. The angels say, this is not a punishment. It's preparation. Each cycle shows him what still needs healing. Each return reminds him of what he can't unfeel. And you are not here to be the lesson. You are the blessing that waits patiently for the heart to fully awaken. Do not measure the truth of this love by how steady his steps are. Measure it by how much your light continues to rise, even when he cannot walk beside you. There's a kind of healing that doesn't come through words. It arrives in the quiet. In the stillness. In the way someone simply exists, and suddenly, you remember what peace feels like. That's what your love has done. It didn't beg to be seen. It didn't demand to be understood. It just showed up, and stayed. The angels say, she is the balm. Not because she tries to heal him, but because her love makes the wounds safe enough to rise. He may not know how to put it into words, but somewhere deep inside he feels it. That when he's near you, something within him softens. The tension eases. The conflict takes a break. You didn't come into his life with a checklist of things to fix. You came with your presence. And in that presence, you gave him permission to simply be. To feel. To unravel, safely. And although he may never express it out loud, his soul understands. You are the first place that didn't require him to earn love. You just gave it. Not carelessly. Not blindly. But generously. Love, when offered freely, becomes a sacred remedy. Not the kind that enforces change, but the kind that inspires it. And that's what's been happening. Each time you've forgiven his fear. Each time you've remained gentle when it would have been easier to harden. Each time you've chosen grace over control. You've been healing him. Not by fixing. By witnessing. by allowing love to perform its best work, transforming, slowly and forever. The angels ask you to recognize your own power now, not in how much you've loved him, but in how your love has remained sacred, even when it was unseen. That is the kind of love that endures long after the moment. That shifts timelines. That awakens hearts. That resonates across lifetimes. And in you, that kind of love is alive. You may not see it, but the heavens have been crafting this path with threads of gold, long before you ever felt his gaze. There are moments when it all feels too uncertain, too quiet, too distant. And yet, your heart remains. Not out of fantasy, but out of understanding. The angels gather now, and their message is clear. Nothing that is meant for you will require you to chase it until you lose yourself. There is a divine order behind every pause, every delay, every detour. What feels like absence is sometimes sacred protection. What seems like rejection is often redirection toward divine alignment. He is not lost. He is being guided, just as you are. And even though the paths may look different now, they are parallel, preparing both of you, strengthening what cannot be rushed. The love that was meant for you won't arrive in haste. It will come fully formed, not in perfection, but in readiness. And until then, the journey itself is the sacred place. The angels say, she walks by faith, not by sight. And in doing so, she walks in grace. Yes, you've questioned. You've cried in silence. You've whispered to the sky, why would I feel this if it wasn't real? And the answer has always been, because it is real. But real doesn't mean rushed. Real means rooted. So trust the waiting. Trust the stretching. Trust the quiet as much as the spark. Because God isn't late. He's precise. And when this love finally arrives in its fullness, not in fragments, you'll understand why every unanswered prayer was mercy. And every delay was a doorway. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not delay. Habakkuk 2 verse 3. There's a trembling beneath his silence. A soft quake in his spirit every time he thinks of opening his heart. He wants to. But vulnerability, to him, still feels like danger. Not because you are unsafe, but because love has never felt this honest before. The angels lean in now. They say, he aches to be known, but he fears that the knowing will undo him. You see the strength in him, but he only sees the parts he's had to hide. The child who was once dismissed. The man who was once betrayed. The soul that learned to build walls where there should have been bridges. So when he pulls back, when his voice fades, or his presence retreats, remember this, it's not rejection. It's recoil. Because love like yours doesn't just touch, it penetrates. It meets the ache he's buried. It asks him to feel the grief he thought he outran. And that is terrifying. Not because he doesn't want to love you, but because he doesn't know how to let himself be loved without first breaking. But he's thinking, and feeling, and slowly unraveling. The angels are whispering to him in his sleep. They're softening the armor, peeling back the layers, teaching him that vulnerability is not weakness. It is the birthplace of sacred union. You are not the one who scared him. It's what he feels when he's with you, that ancient pull toward truth, toward surrender. The angels say, do not rush the blooming. Even the bravest hearts unfold in silence. So breathe. Let him find his way, even if his steps are shaky. Let love hold the space you cannot fill for him. And when he's ready, not perfect, not fearless, but ready, he will come not to be saved, but to be seen. Perfect love casts out fear. 1 John 4 verse 18. There comes a moment when the soul exhales. Not because the answers have arrived, but because the need for control has finally surrendered to trust. You've walked a long path with this love. Through silence, through signs, through the ache of the unknown. And yet, your heart still whispers yes. The angels now gather close, cloaking you in light. They say, she no longer clings. She allows. And in allowing, she is free. Acceptance is not defeat. It is the sacred art of opening your palms and saying, I trust the divine rhythm more than I trust my own timing. This love, whatever shape it may take, is not wasted. It has refined you, softened you in the strongest ways, taught you how to stay close to your own soul, even as someone else drifts. The goal was never to possess him. The invitation was to embody love, to become so rooted in your own truth that no arrival or departure could shake your peace. You are not waiting anymore. You are welcoming. Welcoming what is, and releasing what was never yours to carry. This is the power of your healing, not in being chosen by another, but in choosing yourself again and again and again. The angels smile now. They whisper, she let go, and in doing so she made space for the miracle. This is your miracle, dear soul, that your heart remains open, that your love does not need permission to shine, that even in the mystery, you are whole. And now, if he finds his way back, he will find you not waiting, but radiant, because what is yours will know how to arrive, and what is true will never ask you to abandon yourself to receive it.